Hello everyone, this is Clinton here from PocketView on another episode of PocketView Insights. And what are we talking about today? How do I own a landed property? Well, there's only about 3 ways to do so. Number 1 is the easiest way, born into a rich family. Problem solved, pangkang. I had one client who bought this first home, semi-detached, worth $5 million at the age of only 28 years old. I also wish my life is that easy but it's fine. There's this Chinese saying called 同人不同命. It's okay, it's karma for previous life, I guess. Number 2, you work hard and slog your life to earn the income that allows you to qualify for a loan on the landed, build the capital required for the down payment, and also some reserve funds for rainy days. And this is really the hardest part to achieve because it requires very strong discipline to save money. And not only must you save money, you must also know how to invest it well so it takes a shorter time to reach your goal. Because I think everyone has this similar problem, right? We earn X amount of dollars, but somehow the bank account always empty. I mean, of course when one has money, they tend to splurge on holidays, luxury, cars, girlfriends, wife, for some maybe mistresses. The point is, not everyone can save about $1.3 million in cash or CPF to fund such purchases. CPF contribution does help, but even that only forms about 20-30% of your war chest. How many of you guys belong to this category? If you are, you got my respect. Which brings me to number 3, which is the most achievable one that's applicable for most hardworking group of people out there. Asset progression or elevation or whatever term you want to coin it. In simpler terms, it's just the growing of your asset portfolio. So it allows you to grow as much capital as fast as possible. Simple as that. Very calculated approach. In context, a decent landed these days will cost you around $4 million, which means that you are required to earn an estimated single or combined income of $28,000 minimum. And you must also set yourself back $1.18 million in cash or CPF for the down payment, including stamp duty. Sounds like quite challenging? Yes, but if I do it step by step, then I tell you it should take about 2 cycles of about 8 to 12 years for you to be in that position to make this move. Personally, it took me about 8 years and exactly 2 cycles to buy my first landed, and I started my career 14 years ago with a $2,000 loan from my parents and bought my first property in 2014 only after saving for close to 4 years. If I can do it, then I think it should work for most people as well. And after serving so many buyers, I noticed there's always this common problem that most people face. They have the income, but they don't have the money for down payment. Or they have the money for down payment, but they don't have the income to support the loan. Sounds very familiar, right? So the trick here is to start from somewhere. If your earning power is stronger from the start, you can always start with a private, right? If not, it can always be something smaller. It can be as simple as starting with a BTO. Let's call it step 1 or first cycle. You should be earning around maybe $7,000. Say you get a BTO at $500,000. Take a 80% loan, $400K without any grant, and wait for about 3 years for it to be built. And then you live in it for about another 5 years. At the time of it crossing MOP, your outstanding loan should be, I think, somewhere around $350K. Let's say HDB is now worth $950K. Of course, this was not cast in stone, but you know it is quite realistic. 950K sale price, you take away 350K loan and another 18K agent's commission. Okay you can always pay $1,999 to fixed fee agents to save on quite some bill. You realize that you'll be left with around 580K in proceeds. Not cash proceeds, just proceeds. Means cash and CPF with the accrued interest. Why I don't break that down separately? Because it's still money for you to roll over to the next purchase, you see. And I also don't calculate interest for your loan on the HDB purchases because I'm not here to teach you about the investment aspect of this move. All this interest payment and all any other investment expenses are called cost of living. Everyone has their own cost of living. It's just whether it's high or it's low only. So I'm here only merely guiding you on the steps to make that jump to a landed property in time to come. So back to it, with this 580K, it then allows you to buy a private of up to $2.05 million, including paying stamp duty. And here is where we enter step 2, cycle 2. Two options. Let's say you buy a solid resale 3-bedroom in the RCR or OCR region. In today's market of 2.8% fixed rate, your monthly installment should be at $6,318 on a 30 years loan tenure. And we add $500 approximately for the maintenance fee and another $200 for property tax. Your monthly outflow will be close to $7,000. Now, monthly cash outflow doesn't mean it's you losing money. How much of this $7,000 do you really lose? Interest itself should set you back somewhere around $3,600. You add the maintenance fee and property tax of $700. It means your monthly expenses down the drain will be approximately $4,300. So $4,300 out of this $7,000 is money you will lose forever. What does it also mean? It means that if you don't wish to buy a property to live in, it's equivalent to giving yourself a budget of $4,300 to rent a house. Understand? So for the option of resale property, every month outgoing is $7,000 while the true expense is $4,300. It's a bit of difference, which brings me to the second option. Buy a 3-bedroom new launch in the OCR. Assuming you have no house to live in, you are likely required to go rent a house, right? Realistically. In today's market, if you up your budget from $4,300 in expense to about $5,000, you should be able to rent a lot of nice OCR or even RCR 3-bedrooms. Hence, buying a new launch will probably set you back $700 more per month in expense, but it's still $2,000 cheaper in monthly outflow as compared to paying $7,000 every month. Now you see what I'm trying to say? And of course, there's also the additional cost of paying for your progressive payment on the new launch. But a quick look at the stats, you will realize that the numbers tend to build up more when it's closer to TOP. On this portion, if you buy a fresh launch, your CPF monthly contribution should be able to handle the progressive payments up to TOP. How so? Imagine the first round of progressive payment and foundation gets caught about, let's say, 8 months later. Your CPF OA will likely have accumulated 8 months of $1,350 in monthly contribution, amounting to $10,800 in surplus, right? Then when the foundation gets caught, you'll likely still accumulate another $900 a month in surplus for another 6 to 8 months, amounting to $6,300. By the time the framework gets caught, you will likely have approximately $17,000 in your CPF OA to offset the repayment in time. Only when they start calling for the payment on the construction of walls are you required to top up for excess from either your cash or CPF. In this case, the $400 needed can be offset from your 17K CPF funds built over the previous 18 months or so. When you reach this milestone, it also usually means that the construction should take another 12 to 15 months before TOP where you can rent it out. Do you think the CPF funds should be able to cover all the way to almost TOP? Most likely, That's why this move allows you to focus your resources on just paying for the $5,000 rental a month. Now that you know that staying in your own house is definitely cheaper from a true expense point of view, the renting strategy and buy new launch will likely set you back close to $1,300 a month. If I add the $700 difference from buying your own home and the probable average interest of about $500 a month for the new launch, what does it entail to? That buying a new launch alone will set you back close to $50K more in expense in 3 years as compared to buying a resale. How I derive $50,000? 1,003 times 36 months. That's the give and take. It then goes back to the basic of asking yourself this question. Whatever you buy now, whether is it resale or not, which one will likely have a better upside potential for the next 3 years? If it's the new launch, factor in the negative carry of $50K against the resale. But notice this one thing, I haven't factored in the likely renovation cost for this resale property. Very likely you're going to renovate, right? And the renovation will easily burst past $50,000 one. That's why with a level playing field in today's market conditions, you should really ask yourself which path suits you better. Resale means lesser expenses, but take note your cost of living per month, which is the money outflow you pay out every month, and the stress on your monthly outgoing is going to be much higher. $7,000 a month for resale versus $5,000 to $6,000 for the new launch for the initial 2 years. And let's say if you buy a 3-bedroom resale or new launch at $2.05 now and sell it at about $2.55 million, you should be left with around $1.01 in proceeds. Again, not profits after taking away your outstanding loan. Now, with this $1.01 million in proceeds, are you a tad closer to buying a landed property? Based on $4 million, there's still a shortfall of $170K, right, to meet the $1.18 million required for the down payment and stamp duty for the house? Now how? Either you drop your budget on the landed or top up the $170K from your savings, since my previous two steps doesn't require you to top up any funds into the property for the down payment or the whatsoever. Or you just play safe and rinse and repeat step 2 for another 3 years. That's how you can do it. Owning a landed in about 2 to 3 cycles and within an 8 to 10 years duration. And also, while your property works hard for you, you also better work hard. Your income better be up there in 10 years duration to earn that $28,000 baseline required to take a loan on the $4 million purchase. If you think it is challenging to hit this sort of income, then why are you even thinking of buying a landed, right? You cannot be staying in a landed and expect HDB cost of living, right? This video barely touches the cost of living you will start to face when you buy your own landed, yeah. Remember, you also need to set aside some money to renovate, or also some reserve funds to pay your installments every month. Same thing, that's another topic for another day, but this video just shares with you how to get to the point of paying for the down payment of the landed while your income hopefully grows to the level required to make that jump. It is not easy to do so, but it is definitely not impossible. Just make a few calculated steps and definitely you are on your way. Unless, like I said, your parents are rich. But how many of us have parents that are that rich?